welcome back to our show. My name is Alana Jones.
I'm Ariela Allen, and we're so excited for this week's episode.
This week, I had the opportunity to talk to Mary from the LGBT Center about their recent reopening. And our own host, Ryan Perrone, met with a book club that focuses on representation in books.
And I had the chance to sit down with our producer, Spencer Bowman, and talk to him about our show. Also, I stopped by a local town hall. Join us as we say,
Hi, neighbor! Hi, neighbor. Alana Jones here, and today I'm with
Mary Bishop.
Hi, Mary, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Mary. I am the LGBTQ plus Center's intern. I'm a senior and I'm a social work major.
Cool. All right, and what is your position here? Like, what do you do in the LGBT community?
So I'm the intern, which pretty much means I do a little bit of everything. I've been doing events for the center, helping prepare them, host them and such, answering the LGBTQ plus email, just helping folks get resources that they may need from us.
All right, yeah, so you're the one to go to, like, if you have any questions about anything here. Just as a refresher, what is the LGBT Center? What does it all do here?
So we are a community resource for the students at App and anyone in Boone that may need resources regarding the LGBTQ plus community. It's also for our allies. So we're pretty much just a space for students to be able to come into that are needing resources, that are seeking community and want a safe space to be able to truly be themselves.
That's great. I love that they have a center here at a college where students can just come and feel at ease and be themselves and surround themselves with other people who are just like them. And I love that. So with the COVID going on right now, what kind of procedures and rules do you guys have around here to try and accommodate for that?
Yeah, so we have been closed for this new semester. We have decided to open solely on Fridays now from 10 to 4, so we have reduced hours. We're trying to just continue to enforce mask mandate, making sure people wear their masks correctly. We are providing masks for people if they want a surgical mask. We are also just asking our students that come into the center to sanitize areas whenever they're using them, try to minimize eating in the center, and so such stuff like that.
All right, cool. That's great to see that we're still able to have a center like this and kind of have a community, but still being safe with all of this COVID going around. Yeah. And so how long have you been an intern here?
So I started this semester, so since January, so just a couple of months now.
Wow, that's great. Okay, cool. Hi, so what's your name?
Larissa Eichler.
Hi, Larissa. So for the LGBT Center, what does it mean to you? What does it feel like to be here?
It's very nice to be here. It's a very inclusive, diverse space, and it's really just a safe space too. Like you could just come in here, not have to worry about being judged, and just hang out with really cool people.
All right, awesome. So it feels like a sense of relaxment here. When you come here, you could do like schoolwork here or just come to hang out with people who are just like you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, and what's your name?
My name is Peter Cooper.
Hi, Peter. So with the LGBT Center reopening, what does the center mean to you?
Oh, I suffer from critical loneliness all the time, so coming around to here is quite refreshing. I think everyone kind of needs their sense of community, and for a lot of the members such as myself, this is our place where we get that feeling. I feel very validated that it's finally starting to come open again. I mean, most of the people in the center know me by name now, which is also validating.
That's great. Yeah, it's great to have a sense of a place on campus that you can go to where you just feel at ease and you can have just a friend group or just a place to chill and do homework if you feel like it.
Right. I mean, the campus has always been, well, I don't want to say always, but the campus is very accommodating, I would say, towards LGBT people. There are far worse places to be, even in the state. But even then, just like it feeling safe, like it's nice to be able to come here and know that people around me get it. You know, there's a sort of familiarity being.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Coming up after this short break, our host Ryan catches up on a book club focusing on equal representation in literature. Stay tuned.
My name is Melissa Weddle, and I'm Department Chair of Recreation Management and Physical Education at Appalachian State University. We offer 2 degree-granting programs, one in Recreation Management with a focus in outdoor experiential education, recreation and park management, and commercial recreation and tourism. Our second degree-granting program in health, physical education, and coaching offers teacher certification for public schools in health and physical education. You can get a minor or certificate in coaching. We are the front porch to the Beaver College of Health Science, where our focus is on quality of life, wellness, and physical activity. We're located in the beautiful mountains of Boone, North Carolina, so come join us, check out our website, or take a class.
Now let's join Ryan as he checks in with the book club.
Hi neighbor, today I'm sitting down with
Corey Ferguson.
and we're going to be discussing the inclusive book club that they have started on campus this last fall. So to start, could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, I am a graduate assistant in the Community Engaged Leadership Office. And so my position title works a lot with inclusion and engagement on campus, and so part of that encompasses sustained dialogue, and part of that encompasses smaller programming like creating the Inclusive Literature Book Club.
Okay, now with the Inclusive Literature Book Club, what's your role?
So I started it last fall, and then I do tend to lead most of the meetings, but the members take the lead in selecting books. They often are posing questions during the meetings. So it's really more collaborative than just me doing like a class, English class.
All right, so then in that case, you founded the club, is that correct?
Yes.
And what was the purpose for founding this club? What did you feel was necessary to start the club?
Oh yeah. Well, definitely a part of it is like purely selfish reasons. I'm a big reader, and I was really inspired by like seeing different content creators on TikTok talking about like the lack of representation for people of color or other minoritized identities in like popular literature. And so I think that kind of was the impetus for starting this book club, is it gives people a chance to come and discuss books that don't revolve around maybe identities that they're constantly seeing in literature, but it's also a really positive representation of minoritized identities. And so we're seeing books where the main content of the book is not fighting for justice, it's a love story, or a YA fantasy novel where they're going on a quest. And so that's cool, I think, because we're so often seeing like diversity and inclusion work in the context of like books like The Hate U Give, where it's largely surrounding topics like police brutality or justice. And so I think it's good to get all sorts of exposure to diversity through those channels.
All right, that's fascinating, honestly. I couldn't even think about such a topic so deeply. Now, what book are you guys currently reading?
Oh, we are currently reading Funny in Farsi by Firuza Dumas. And so it is a story of a woman who immigrated from Iran to America right around the time of the Iranian Revolution. And so she had 2 years in America prior to the revolution and then came back during the revolution. And it's really interesting to see like how perceptions of Americans changed so greatly in the span of those 2 years, just based off of like geopolitical conflict. But it's also, she's a comedian, and so it's all of these small anecdotes interspersed throughout where they're talking about like where her and her mother were going to the supermarket for something called elbow grease because somebody said, oh, you don't need like a cleaner to get that stain out, you just need some elbow grease, which like growing up in America, I know that means you just have to like apply a lot of pressure, but they thought it was an actual product. So it's just like funny stories like that, and certainly a really entertaining read.
All right. So, the club, where do you guys meet?
We meet here in the Community Engaged Leadership Outreach Center, PSU 134, and we meet usually Mondays at 5:30 We're doing 2 meetings a month, and so the first meeting is about halfway through the month where we discuss the first half of the book, and the second meeting is at the end of the month where we discuss the book as a whole. And so it's nice to have it broken up into 2 meetings because life gets busy and you don't always have that time to like read a whole book in the span of 2 weeks.
All right, well, thank you for sitting down with us. I really appreciate that. This club is actually genuinely very interesting. I might even pop in at some point and check it out myself. So, yeah, thank you very much. Bye, neighbor.
Coming up after the break, I sit down with our producer, Spencer Bowman, to talk about Hi Neighbor. Stay tuned.
Let's go! To a place where you can grow.
A place to be heard.
And take a closer look.
A place where you can crush it.
And push yourself.
A place to find your voice.
This place rocks.
And rolls.
A place where you can get out.
Wow!
A place you'll never forget.
So where is this place? Let me show you.
Hi neighbor, welcome back to our show. Join me today as I sit down with Spencer Bowman, who actually happens to be the producer of Hi Neighbor. Spencer, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just start at the beginning. How did you get involved with App TV?
Well, last semester I was told by my advisor that App TV was a good idea for me, so I came to the meeting and got put on Hi Neighbor, and I became a producer, and now here I am.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you as part of our team. I feel like you've been such a valuable member. And when you say you were put on as producer, did you enter as the head producer or did you enter as an associate producer first?
I actually entered as an associate producer, and I was associate for a semester, and then I took over the producer role when Amando left last semester.
Wow, you know, for someone who hasn't been in App TV long, that seems like a real jump in like responsibilities and authority. How did you handle that transition?
It was definitely difficult at first because my job kind of completely shifted from more of like going out and filming packages to now I'm running a meeting and delegating to other APs, and it's just become a lot different. It's hard to do at first, but I'm kind of getting the hang of it now.
And as someone who has worked for me since day one, when you joined Hi Neighbor, it's been so interesting seeing you go from, like you said, literally chasing protesters, running through packages with me, to go to this position of authority. And while you're in this position, I know a big part of being producer is, like you said, delegating and really organizing and structuring the show. What would you say your creative vision for Hi Neighbor is moving forward this semester?
That's a good question. I've really liked what we have been doing recently because as we've had new APs come in, we've had people bring their personal creativity and their own takes on how things should be covered. And I just really want people to embrace their own creativity and not look at things that have been done in the past being like, okay, well, I guess we'll just do it like this. I want them to take it and do it their own way.
And I feel like considering Hi Neighbor is a show about Boone's community, that is such an important voice to be able to channel and carry is all of that individuality, since it is a community of individuals that make up a community. So I love to see that reflected in your work. And moving forward, because I believe you're a senior, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so moving forward, how does your current creative vision for Hi Neighbor align with the creative vision you're interested in going into professionally?
Absolutely. So one thing that I'm really interested in going into a career is live production. I'd love to work in like esports broadcasting and do behind the scenes production for that. And I feel like being able to be in here in the studio and go out and film packages and edit is like, it's fantastic skill-wise for getting into what I want to do.
And I'm so glad that Hi Neighbor and our little community here has been able to support you as an individual, kind of going back to that theme we touched on earlier. Well, Spencer, for our audience members who are really interested in having the same kind of transformative experience you did by joining the team, who can they reach out to do so?
Yeah, so the two people in charge of App TV are Carlos Montero and Kevin Wilson, and we'll have their contact information listed below, so you can contact them.
Awesome. Well, Spencer, I know this is a little bit of a different role to be put in today, but we really appreciate you coming on the show and just talking about what High Neighbor is and how your creative vision is defining what High Neighbor will be in the future. Thank you again for coming on. It was so great speaking with you.
Absolutely.
And for all of our other neighbors out there, you definitely heard the 2 contacts that you can reach out to, and like we said, we will link that information to the bottom of the screen. And until next week, neighbors, bye, neighbor.
Don't go anywhere yet. Coming up after this short break, Full Metal Sweater joins us in the studio to talk about their upcoming shows.
And I had it right here on this wall. So every time we did Zoom meetings, there was always that giraffe in the background of my Zoom meeting, and Sarah always made fun of me for it. But it's in Boone with me now, so it's still in my Zoom meetings.
She's very modest. Mom's a little more proud than she is at this point.
I was all conference all 4 years, all state in 2019, and then we won the state championship my sophomore year in 2017. I remember this so clear as day because it was amazing. I saved the first PK, and then it got to the final round of PKs, and I had to save it to win, or if they scored, they won. I ended up guessing the right way. It hit the post, didn't go in, so we ended up winning. Be very careful not to hit my sister's car. Down that way is the high school, and then this way is like all the fast food, shopping centers and stuff in here. This is like the main road. Louisville Clemens is the main road for Clemens. So this is my field. A lot of memories on this field. That whole goal used to be a sandbox. I hated playing on that side of the field, but that side was nice. My dentist, his daughter was the forward on the other team, and she had a breakaway, and I saved the 1v1, but she ended up kicking me in the face, and I got up and there's like blood pouring down my face. My mom thought it was my teeth, so she was like, oh, the dentist's daughter just ruined her teeth, yada, yada, yada. I played my last game here. We lost in the 4th round my senior year, and I actually finished playing as a forward on this field. We had 2 keepers. It was me and Olivia Protopis. I played first half, Olivia played second half, and we were down 1-0, just chilling on the bench over there in second half, and he goes, Carrie, why don't you put your field player jersey on? I said, well, why? He said, because I'm gonna put you at forward. So I finished my last high school game as a forward. So that was interesting. There's a tournament that this ballpark does in the spring, and when I was a freshman in high school, I think App was playing in it. So, or maybe I might have been a junior because I went to go watch Elizabeth play. She was playing for App, so it was her freshman year. I played at the Y for a little bit when I was really small, and then I played at another little club somewhere in Winston. I don't even remember what the name was. And then I came here, and I played here for a long, long time. Up until I graduated, I was still practicing at these fields. I committed Christmas of my junior year. Down there on field 6 is where I fractured my thumb. Fractured both, actually. Both of my thumbs I fractured on field 6. 8th grade year, I fractured this thumb. It was on a 1v1, and she ended up kicking me like right in here, and I fractured the growth plate. So I had a cast on for about 4 weeks. So, and then the second time, it was like the same thing, but I fractured it up in here, so I just had a little splint instead of a cast. But both on field 6, so not my lucky number.
It's a great save by Carrie Eagleston.
A shot on, what a stop by Eagleston.
Going into my freshman year is when I really decided that I wanted to play soccer in college. That's when I really started looking for colleges and what I wanted to study, what I wanted out of a college. App won. I'm glad it did too.
Hi, neighbor. Today, I'm joined here inside Beasley Studio with the band Full Metal Sweater. Thank you guys for joining me. Now, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and what it is you do in the band?
So I'm Davis. I play the drums, I sing, I do a little bit of songwriting here and there.
I'm Isaiah. I play bass and I sing every now and then.
Hello, my name is August and I play guitar and I sing one of our songs.
All right. Now, I wanted to know how this band came together and the name. Who was it that came up with the name? What exactly is the inspiration behind that?
I'll toss that one to Isaiah.
That's me.
Answer that.
So the name came from the movie Full Metal Jacket, but we just changed one word, basically.
Okay.
And we came together. I came up freshman year trying to get into a band, played with a lot of people, went to a lot of really sketchy places around Boone. But sooner or later I put it out on Craigslist and August hit me up, and then later down the line, Davis hit us up, and then we were a band.
Actually, you put out a flyer, and it was in front of my dorm.
Right.
And that's how I found it. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I tried every way: Facebook, Craigslist flyers. I was working, trying to get us out there,
Yeah.
Oh man, that's actually quite the story. All by happenstance, so honestly, that's great.
Pretty much.
Now, one of the cool things about any band is the type of music they play. How did you guys come together and say, okay, this is the genre we want to play? And how would you describe your genre?
Really, the first time we got together and played music, we kind of just started jamming, and we just came up with whatever was in the moment, and it sounded really cool. We liked it. We'd never really known how to describe what we play. Like, it's a little bit of rock, alternative, it's got funk in it, it's got all sorts of little inspirations from each and every one of us. So, yeah, I mean, we just kind of come up with whatever sounds coolest, I guess.
All right. Yeah, I think that's always the way to go. Now, I know that you guys are playing at Boonchella tomorrow. So could I ask all you guys to talk about what it means for you to play at this festival?
Alex, you want to start us off?
Well, I mean, it means a lot, honestly. We're playing with a whole bunch of the great local bands around here, and to be a part of the scene and contribute to this whole process has been, really cool. And we've met a bunch of new people that we'd never met before, and just getting our name out there. It's such a big festival for Boone. We've not had anything that big around here since, I guess, FemFest was pretty big, but yeah, it's a great experience.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we're just grateful to be able to play anywhere. We never really cared about the set time or how much money we were making. We just like to play, and we just go out there and do what we do when we're at August House jamming.
I mean, they pretty much sums it up pretty much. I mean, we love playing music. I mean, we love pretty much everyone who's up here. It's a super supportive and welcoming community of musicians that are all great people, and we're just super happy to be a part of it.
That's great. I just love that. That's so great. Now, you guys have played a number of shows around Boone. So do you still find yourself getting nervous, or has it kind of diminished? And all of you can answer that.
I mean, for me, I definitely still get a little bit nervous before shows. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of jitters before, because you never know what's going to happen. But definitely over time, as we've played more shows and gotten more, comfortable with that environment and played more with each other, we've definitely gotten more comfortable with just that whole environment, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time we were playing, I was extremely nervous, I'll be honest, but, you just got to keep in mind that if this is what you really want to do as like a career, you just got to, that's just something you got to get over, something you got to get used to. But now it's a lot better, and it doesn't really bother me that much.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with Davis. I still get pretty nervous when we go up there and start our shows. The adrenaline really hits pretty hard, and I can feel my heart beating. But once we get a couple songs in and settle into our songs, our jams, then that all kind of eases up, and I just have a good time.
All right. Now, do you have any more shows coming up?
Yeah, we got one on Thursday of next week, and we're playing with, what was the band?
Carver Commodore. I'm a huge fan of this band. I absolutely love them. They're good friends. They asked if we wanted to play with them. We said absolutely. So we'll be playing next Thursday at the Boone Saloon with Whitehall and Carver Commodore. It's going to be a great time.
All right, definitely. I'm going to check that out, actually. Yeah. Now, like any other band, there's always someone who inspires you. And it may not be the same for each of you. So who or what inspires you as a musician, as a band?
As a musician, personally, I'd probably say Dave Grohl. He's just the coolest dude ever. He can do it all. He's a super nice guy. If I could be him, that would be amazing with me.
All right.
Me personally, people like Les Claypool, Victor Wooten, Flea, just any bass player. It's got a lot of slapping. I love that. But yeah, what about you?
Big Chili Peppers guy, big Zeppelin guy, Hendrix fan, a little bit of everything. I mean, I'm all over the board. Anything that sounds good, really.
All right, cool. Now I have one last question for you guys. You guys are students, and you attend classes at the university, and you're also in a band, and I assume some of you, all of you, may work jobs. How do you manage between work, classes, and practice and performances?
It's definitely difficult to get 3 people in like an open slot for an hour for practice or whatever. But you know, it's really just, hey, you free this day? Yeah, sure. All right, you come on over to my place. We'll practice for a little bit. Or hey, can we play this show on this day? Yeah, sure. I'm not doing anything. You know, get my assignments done before the show or something. Head on over there. Have a good time.
And I assume you guys also share this sentiment?
Yeah, it's very random, our jamming. And I think it's nice to do that because, you know, sometimes things come up. Somebody's got more schoolwork one week than others. But yeah, it keeps things fresh and exciting.
Yeah, and we all want the same thing. We all have common goals. So at the end of the day, like, we all want to get together and jam whenever we have free time. That is, you know, what we want to do. And so it's not hard that if we have free time to spend that jamming and hanging out.
All right, well, I want to thank you guys, Full Metal Sweater, for joining me today in the studio. Yeah. Now, if you want to keep up with the band, be sure to follow them on their Instagram at Full Metal Sweater Official. Once again, thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we had today. Thank you so much for joining us. And be sure to follow us on our Instagram page at hi_neighbor_apptv for updates.
Also, be sure to follow and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube channel at apptv for more student-made content. Until then,
Bye, neighbor!